I'm open.
I'm open.
I wanted to share that I'm at this hotel. Does it say that? Yeah, there we go.
Jury.
They
Is
gave
that a
me
free
this
drink?
card when I checked in. Yeah, I get every day you're here, you could have 3 free drinks.
Oh,
Ooh.
So
that's pretty sick.
yeah, I didn't even know that when I picked this hotel, but maybe we have a sponsor in our future because
That's awesome.
I'm a fan of that policy.
Nice. Something.
Yeah. Buy our
Buy
merch.
merch.
Buy our merch.
Our
Buy our
merch.
merch.
Hit that subscribe
Subscribe.
button.
Buy it.
Do it now.
Merch.
Sam, your headboard is on another level right now. That's
I
amazing.
know. It
Yeah,
looks
that is
so
a-
nice. It's like way better than my actual room that I've been recording in. It's kind of like putting me to shame, but
Screw that.
yeah.
You know, one thing
Anyway.
I've noticed is that all of our background like wall colors are like, I don't know if it's just the way that the Zoom or like our webcams pick up like lighting and stuff, but I feel like we all have the same room colors always.
Yeah.
Just like this like kind of beigey tan, like kind of
Yeah. Well, that's all
color.
they paint rooms as now.
Yeah. It's like
I
default
miss the
room
good
color.
old days of colored rooms.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I had a different sports team logo on every wall of my room, so it was just like it was so ugly, but I liked it.
Nice. I guess before we like get into the meat of our podcast, is there anything we need to dump about? We have some things. I have one thing that
Is it about
I'd like to
Everest
offer.
not being on the fucking
That feels like meat,
boat?
not even dump word. That feels like that's important enough to
I
be
think that's
meat.
meat. I think that's a full.
That's
I
probably
think we
what we're
can-
going to talk about the whole time. You're right.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's dump worthy if we have like a whole tier list to go through, but now that the season's over, like that's meat.
Is
Yeah,
it
that's main
is,
course
is
right
any
there.
all-star stuff dump worthy, or is that meat? Is all the
I think
all-star
that's
stuff?
meat.
I think that's meat.
Okay.
I have okay. I'll offer my dump. I'm wearing
Yeah, do it.
this Tennessee Vols hat. I grew up somewhat of a Vols fan, so watched the game yesterday. It was pretty lit. But to tie that into Frisbee, I got this hat at a gas station in Arkansas on the way to Huck Finn back in the day, the tournament where I think like it was
I'm
like
in St.
Friday.
Louis right now.
You're in St. Louis right now, so
Yeah.
you know it all goes full circle.
Wow.
But we left for the tournament, and Sam, you were the team president at the time, and the state of the tournament was that they didn't have any fields, and they were like fighting to because of like weather stuff. They were trying to find new fields, so the tournament was kind of up in the air, and it was like you had that knowledge. I think I knew about it. Ryan, you probably knew about it, and then like maybe one or two other people on the team, and you just made the call, just like fuck it, we're just gonna drive, and they're probably gonna figure it out. But like we got in the car and loaded up to go to this. I mean, it's like what? It's like over a 10-hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
where we
brutal.
were. And
it was pushing our driver count because they have limits on how far you can drive. So it was like really stretching it.
Yeah. And we left for this tournament, like, and it was like maybe this tournament's not even happening. Like and we stopped in Arkansas and I just saw like they had these hats and I was like, oh my God, this is like the most glorious, like ugly but awesome like hat. And so I was like, I got it. And they had a bunch of SEC teams, so I got the Tennessee one, and it's my very loud, obnoxious Vols hat that I wear sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I
go
remember
Vols.
I was Sam and I were the president. I was the VP at the time, and I was in charge of all the traveling. And who would have thought like getting like freshmen, sophomore, and juniors in college to like fill out driver forms to become drivers was so hard. So we had very limited drivers. And what ended up happening in the tournament is that they like canceled all of Sunday, and the tournament had to be like 2 hours further than when we thought it was going to be because of the fields. That's when we went to Boonville. So literally, if the tournament didn't get canceled, we would have like gotten in trouble for like driving over the limits or whatever, which could have put us in jeopardy for tournaments in the future. So thankfully the tournament got canceled, so we got to leave like early in the morning or something, because you can't drive like past midnight, I think.
Well, if I recall, what happened was a snowstorm happened on Sunday, or on Saturday rather, and we got 2 games in, and then they canceled the rest of the games that day.
The
But
game
then they
was
had
like we won, or no, I think we lost our second game like 7-6 or something because it was like
Torrential
incredibly
snow.
windy and it was snowing. Everyone's hands were like numb.
Yeah. And they canceled the rest of the games that day, and that was like the one tournament that like a bunch of parents came to because we had a bunch of kids from the Midwest, and they actually resumed games on Sunday, and we said fuck it, we just drove home, right? Like
in part because we needed it to not break the rules, but also it was like this isn't going to be good frisbee, so let's just go.
Yeah. Saturday was crazy. The first game, it was just like cold and windy, and we just started punting it. That was the tournament where we tweeted recently about Max Lang's lefty backhand punt, which was amazing. And then in the second game, it just started snowing, and like literally halfway through the game, there was a whole like 2 inches of snow on the ground.
It was insane.
Yeah, it was a nightmare tournament. But the stories will last forever. Oh, I remember I was also in Everest's car on the way back, and I just remember we were just oh man, we were sick of each other by the end of that shit. It was like 12 hours in the car, and like I was getting on his nerves, but then he was getting on my nerves, and we were just like ready to tear each other's heads off. I remember that.
For sure.
My best memory on the way back was I was very stern in the group chat. I was like, nobody's allowed to drink on this trip. Nobody drink. But I was in a car with our coaches, Billy, Baba, and Lamp. And so everyone got to the hotel after us, and we were just all in there drinking. They were like, what the fuck? You said we couldn't drink. We would have bought beer. And I was like, I said, you couldn't drink.
Yeah, good times.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
We were here to talk to a guest, but the guest has probably rescheduled on us. So we are going to talk about all of the news that came out this week related to All-Star stuff. I feel like there's more. What else?
Should we talk Club Nationals next weekend?
Yeah, sure. We should probably do that.
Dip into that. We could talk about not only like how we feel about the selections that were made, but also the rule changes proposed for the game itself.
I think we should give some predictions on best rosters, who's going to win.
Yeah,
we could do that.
How do they make the rosters, like the cuts? Is it west, like east west, or like something like that, or because there's 4 divisions?
Great question.
Let me see if they announced that or something.
And there has to be reserves because the players that they have announced is not enough for 2 teams.
Yeah.
1, 2. Well, they have 25, 26, right? Because every team got 1 and Portland got 2.
Oh.
And then plus the vote, so it'll be teams of 15, I think.
I'm bad at math. Yeah,
that's all right.
So an O line and a D line.
That's what I was thinking.
And a sub.
And
I think there's a lot to talk about the All-Star. Something that I'm mixed feelings on is the defensive player for the All-Star vote. One, how do we feel about one of the nominees having a bigger following on social media than the entire AUDL put together? But also, like, he deserves it. There's that aspect. And then the other aspect of is, like, why not use his following to grow the sport and grow the AUDL? So what do you guys think about that?
It made me think, like, they should get so I'm in the middle of a long road trip, so I have a lot of time to myself to just think. And I was thinking they should get like celebrities to just play in the league, like spend like an inordinate amount of money getting someone famous on like most teams. Like if you know how J. Cole plays like shitty basketball, like if J. Cole played on the Flyers, that would be insane. Like how many people would be like, oh, I gotta watch J. Cole play Ultimate Frisbee right now?
Yeah.
I think they probably don't compensate Brownlee for the publicity he does give them, but he could give more if they were to sort of strategically use him. And they should find more celebrities in general. That's my take.
Yeah. Personally, I'm pro Brownlee using his platform. Keep doing it. Maybe one day, if you grow the sport big enough, we'll get paid on this pod. So, yeah.
It is. I will say it is a fat L for the other dudes who
Yeah,
go
so
go
funny.
up
For
against him
sure.
in a fan vote. That's
Yeah.
tough. I mean, it just I don't know. I guess it kind of is what it is. Like I think he is deserving just by his own merit of the way he plays. They were putting him. I was really fascinated by the way the Empire used Marquez throughout the season, like on handler D. Um, and he was like locking down like really good players. I mean, he gave like Johnny Malks like a really tough matchup. Like I just thought he played his assignment really well. And it just showed how versatile he was on defense. He's not just like the dude that you put in the deep space. You know, he can his game is very complete as a defensive player, which is super cool. So he's totally like, you know, worthy of if not just like being a lock in the All-Star game, you know, being in the fan vote. And I guess it's just unfortunate. You know, I don't know, maybe like they just let him be in the thing and just have someone else be in the fan vote, you know.
They
I don't
really
know.
set him up for failure.
He
But, I mean,
also was their main puller, and he had a pretty good polling season too, which
he was a
I've
huge
seen a lot
piece.
of Twitter discourse about polling being a part of defensive.
oh yeah,
like our opinion of defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, he was a huge piece on the best team in the league,
Yeah.
the cheap, you know, like. So certainly he deserves to be in the All-Star game. That's not a question, you know. But
I think the whole
Yeah.
way of doing All Stars was kind of weird. Like they didn't say what it was going to be, and then it was just like, oh, it's going to be like one per team. And then people on Twitter were like, how did they choose these people? Because
Yeah.
nobody knows. And
And then
then
got
and then
two.
we have these fan votes that are limited to 4 players they randomly chose instead of.
But why does Chicago have 3
Why does
players
Chicago-
in the
yeah.
vote? Why do they have 2 rookies?
Yeah,
yeah,
What
ridiculous.
the fuck? Rutledge and Lance both in there and not Everest? Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they had
that's
the
wild.
same plus minus as Everest in 4 and 5 more games. Like, if you're gonna let the fans do it, let the fans pick the people they're extremely biased toward, but B,
Yeah.
let them pick from everybody so that they can say, oh, we like so and so,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Agreed.
nuts, man. 2 rookies for the Union and the fan vote. I mean, it's also kind of tough for the 2 rookies who are because like the Union, if people are like fans of the Union, they would split it between them, and maybe that would
Right.
actually hurt them more than it would help them, you know. So I feel like it's just a lose-lose for everybody.
Totally.
No, I mean, the good thing is like Quinn Finer, I think, is just like so clearly deserving of those 4.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was our just like without any like other options. I mean, we picked him from all of the rookies as our favorite. So yeah.
He could have honestly been their all-star, not even like the rookie vote in. Like he was good enough this season to just be Colorado's all-star.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally.
I think him, Nethercutt, and Spicer, for like very distinctive reasons, all kind of deserve to kind of summit.
Sure.
And like seeing Spicer, heart of the D line, Nethercutt, like literally the game manager of the O line, then Finer just open under and Nethercutt's favorite target. Like any of those 3 making the All-Star game, like yeah. So
do we want to just go over the first 26 that were like locked in and go division by division and just kind of like we don't have to spend too much time, but just like look at the names, just see what we think, see if anyone got snubbed. Like
yeah, I've
got,
but we can also pull it up if you want, Sam.
Yeah,
I've
that
got
makes
the tweet.
sense.
I'm just gonna text you the tweet really quick. Or I'm sending it to the group. But yeah, we could do that. I mean, I don't know. We just kind of naturally started talking about the fan vote. We talked defensive, we talked rookies a little bit. What are the other ones? Fan vote highlight. I think that's an interesting one to talk about. Ben Yacht versus James Pollard.
Yeah. That's just like, let's get another person in. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got something to talk about. The international player. Somebody on that list I don't know is an international player.
Yeah, we didn't I saw Saul Yannick tweet that like, oh yeah, like Suraj Majaradu, like from the distant land of like, North Carolina.
Carolina.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like that
That's
was a little
hilarious.
it's a little what's
Yeah,
up with that?
Yeah,
agreed.
that's funny.
But anyway, I've got the first 26 pulled up if we want to go through them. You guys can see them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Central, how do we feel? Just off the cuff. I like it.
I think it's probably
Team
the
by
best,
team.
the
Yeah.
best, most accurate division.
Yeah.
Where I feel like most of the players are at least like one of the top 2 or 3 players on the
Right.
team, and like it makes sense.
Like Brock
Yeah.
and Coffin and KPS, I think, are all like pretty much locks. I mean, the Winchell have a lot of good players. All those teams do, but
Yeah.
Brock is the face of that one. Coffin was kind of the big story this year. And then KPS is KPS.
I'm pretty upset. Well, I mean, all right. I guess the rule change makes it so that like, players receiving for negative 300 yards, it doesn't really work with the backcourt anymore. But, you know, uh I guess Andrew Sjogren? I don't know how to say that
Shrogan?
name. Shrogan?
Sjogren.
Sjogren?
Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, but
Did that sentence have an end?
oh yes. I lost track.
So Andrew plays for the Mechanics.
Do you think that Ross Barker was the right choice for the Union?
I mean, I guess it's like obviously Pavel is the person you think of, but I also think that it would just be unfortunate because I think Ross Barker definitely does deserve to be an All-Star game as well. I mean, the dude like balled out for them. It's a big part of why they were in the championship game. And like, I don't know, very exciting player to watch. And we have to acknowledge that like the way I don't know how who's in the room when they decide these, but they're probably like let's give Ross the nod this year, which like I'm okay with that. Maybe Pavel is like you know like he seems like an obvious choice, but I don't know. I guess you can't pick everyone on the team, and maybe it's cool to give him the nod. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not like gonna pick up the pitchfork and march around demanding that Pavel gets it over Ross Barker. I guess is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
I think
like
the Central,
both deserving.
I think the Central is pretty straightforward in the All-Star. There's no really clips here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
look at that!
Well,
Look at that
what
picture.
about the East?
Oh my gosh, is that the ghost of Ryan Oscar? Just like floating eyes, basically. So very very white, a lot of white balance going on there in that photo. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with these picks too. I'm not as familiar with the Canadian players. Phil Turner, my player of the week one time. How does that? I feel absolved a little
Nice.
bit.
Was that the week he didn't have a game?
It was when he was like done playing for the rest of the year, I think. but now I get my revenge. He's the player to watch in the All-Star game.
Yeah. It's
who's Willie Stewart?
We don't watch any Boston Glory games.
No, why would I watch a Boston Glory game? This is the thing. Like, there's 26 teams, and I get the argument for giving one to every team, but also, like, you don't want it to just be 6 Empire guys from the East being like the 6 people who are the best. But, like, James Pollard, for instance, probably deserved like an automatic in. Obviously, Sean Mott does too. Johnny Malks,
yeah,
Rowan does too, though. Ben Yacht, but Oscar does too. It's just like I get it, but like I
I think
wish.
Rowan getting it over Johnny was a little bit of like I don't know if someone said it on Twitter or if it was just like one of us, we kind of noticed, but it seems like they give the nod to like some of the veteran players,
Yeah.
which is fine too. Like, so, you know, and
Totally.
not that any of the veteran players that got it don't deserve it either, you know, but it was between like you know, a second year player who was really good and a veteran on the team is really good, you know. I think there's a trend of kind of giving the nod to the veteran, which, you know, if that's kind of your consistent like way you're picking players, like I think I'm okay with that too, you know.
Yeah.
I think Rowan also had like 20 more scores than the next highest player on the Breeze this year.
Like
he
Rowan
also had
totally
just an amazing year.
Yeah.
Rowan balled out.
I think this is sort of like mislabeled an all-star game. Obviously, these are all really good players, but it's kind of just like a broad league-wide showcase sort of thing.
Yeah.
With like
but I mean
more or less equal, like not that I'm complaining about that, but I'm just saying like this is very different from, you know, how an established sports league would do it for obvious reasons. But
I mean, the MLB
as a fan, it's kind of like meh, in some ways.
I suppose. I mean, the MLB does that. Like every team gets a bit. I mean, don't most sports leagues do their All-Star game that way? You get a representative from every team, even the Dookie ones. That's how MLB does it.
No, it's just like a league-wide vote, I think, for basketball and football.
I kind of wish each division was going to have their own teams. Then you could have everybody have a team, but then you can just have all the best players also.
You can have a little bracket thing going on.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that's a better idea because then, well, you would need a lot more players, I guess, but more games going on, more events, more representation, but also you get to see like 3 Empire guys instead of 1.
I figured out where my train of thought was going earlier. I got confused between 2 Callahan winners, Hecht and Gucho Hannes, and I was just talking about Gucho Hannes on Detroit when Matt Hecht is on Detroit, not Matt Gucho Hannes. Where I'm sad he's not in the game because I would have just loved to see him receive for like negative 1,000 yards in the All-Star game. But the backcourt violation, which we'll talk about later, makes him.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make him irrelevant? Probably not. But yeah, there's also some other very deserved players from that team.
Something that you guys just said where maybe like each division gets a team made me think like it's not really an all-star game, but it's more like an all-star weekend if they did like 4 superstar teams and it's like a championship weekend style thing where like Friday like the South and the West play each other and then the East and the Central play each other and then Saturday it's like the winners and then there's like a division winner and I don't know, I think it'd be cool to see like, you know, Boston and New York have to team up with like their top players.
That'd
be kind of cool,
especially because because they just play each other against, they only play their own division like all year, so it'd be kind of cool to have them all team up just to play the other divisions.
Yeah, and I think they could do that outside of All-Star Weekend. Like, you know, I'm sure, you know, AUDL is still growing and takes a lot to plan it, but like they could have this All-Star Weekend and then maybe like next year at the end of the year they do an All-Star Weekend and like this tournament or something. And I don't know.
Right.
I mean, personally, I would love it. More frisbee, more fun, more everything, you know.
Yeah.
The Battle of Champions. I mean, who says no?
I mean, those rosters would be crazy. That's what the Ringer the Invitational will be once we get the backing.
The Ringer the official battle of Ultimate Champions, Ultimate Battle of Ultimate Champions
by division.
How much money would that take to actually set that up?
A lot.
At least $2 or $3.
Well, it depends. It depends if are we making an event? Are we preparing for fans, or are we just like, let's get a field and film it and then, you know, put in crowd noise.
Send out a Google form and be like, if you are an AUDL player and you'd be interested in this, and then nobody.
Yeah, we also have to like fly them all there. So whatever. Anyone have any South Division comments? I don't think we've said anything. Good job, everyone.
Shout out Jake Radak.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
He also said he'll come on the pod. That's a future friend of the pod.
Future friend of the pod.
True.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that he gets the nod. I didn't even realize he was a rookie. Because he doesn't really play like a rookie. He is a rookie, right?
I think so.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think he is, and yeah, he doesn't look like a rookie out there. So yeah, good for him. I'm not as familiar with the other players, to be perfectly honest. Eric Taylor is everywhere. He's a baller, world's player,
yeah,
right?
Like, how is it not Alex Davis?
Yeah, if you're doing like a usual sports league again, like Alex Davis was almost the league leader in goals. Yeah. So like he would be the more, all-star-y type vote. But then since this is more about like who's the face of the team, you're gonna bring Eric Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jake Radak was on that Texas team that knocked us out of nationals.
He was.
Yeah. Thanks, Jake.
You guys remember when Tulane beat Pitt at nationals?
I sure do.
I remember playing that Texas team, being like that was the first game all tournament. I mean, maybe aside from Brown, where I was like, I can't get open on these guys. Like,
these guys are really good.
I was like, I'm wide open. And then like as soon as like the handler would like turn to like look at me, the defender like knew exactly what they were doing. They were poaching off me, and they would just completely catch up with me like in time. Like they were just so much faster than me and better. And I was like, well, we're gonna lose.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
I'm not open.
And then all right, last we've got the West, and there's 8 of them.
Why didn't they give 2 to like
that is a head
the
scratcher.
Flyers? Like, why?
Well,
like,
Portland's the host.
So
Pavel and Ross Barker.
Portland's the host, so that's definitely why. But
I want to figure out like why they decided to. I want to know why they decided to take defenders from who and offensive players from who, and like also for their defensive players that are like the players on all of these rosters that came from D-line is just like. It's been just like the highest point scoring D-line player, not necessarily like the best defensive player. So like that's what JP Burns was, and Connor DeLuna on the Legion is just like their highest scoring D-line player, but not even necessarily like, I don't know. Some of these choices are just weird to me. Like all like great players. I don't want to say they're undeserved. Just like I wish I understood like why they chose these players.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Jordan Kerr is an obvious one.
Well, here I think there's some clear good ones.
Goose Helton, obvious. But
I was shocked by the Goose Helton one, to be honest, because he missed a few games, and like Goose is like he's been around for a while, but I thought Travis Dunn.
Right? Yeah, I thought it was going to be done too.
So well deserved on that squad. He was the heart and soul, like week in, week out, like seeing that game live, like Travis Dunn, it was in his hand. The disc was in his hands like every single play.
That's true.
And I think Goose is just like he's more of like a household name. Everyone knows who he is, but then again, who knows how the AUDL decided between the two.
Dunn was
that was my only really team. Question.
Yeah, I like Gioy.
Mm-hmm.
I think
we've got the. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we're still going.
I was gonna say I think Goose is like a very marketable name.
Oh yeah,
that's got to go into it a little bit, but no, you're definitely right, Ryan. But yeah, do we want to talk about the highlight?
Yeah, I just pulled up the different voting options. I don't think they haven't announced these yet, but Ben Yacht, James Pollard, Matt Smith, and Sean McDougal are in the highlight category, which I don't know what that means. And if it's tied to a specific highlight, they could have been like, this is the highlight they're nominated for.
That would have been cool.
I think I saw tweets that was like who's the player that creates the most highlights?
Okay.
It's like
I think this
exciting
could have
player.
been named better, but that makes
Yeah.
sense. I think all these players, Ben Yot and James Pollard, strike me as guys who would be like very fun in a all-star game because they make cool plays. So I guess the category fits
Hold
there.
on, go back up, Sam. I'm a little confused because I thought that they already put Cam Brock in the All-Star game.
What the fuck? They must have
Yeah,
just used the wrong picture for this
guy. Oh wait, I'm not Charlie Eisenwood.
Eisenwood.
Yeah. I think Ben Yot is like he's probably gonna get it, but man, I hope James Pollard gets in because
Pollard deserves it.
I think Pollard
Yeah.
super deserves it. I hope he gets in. I voted for James Pollard. I enjoyed watching him a ton this season, and it's no knock to Ben Yot. If anything, it's just more, points in James Pollard's court. I guess that he was that exciting to me. Honestly, like he was a really fun player to watch.
Yeah, Ben, go back to O-line if you want to be more exciting.
Yeah. We need to see the stats, otherwise you're out.
Sam,
Yeah.
I wonder who you voted for. I mean, that jersey might have given it away, but
I mean, we've got 2 friends of the pod on there, so I'll never tell. Next we've got defense. These are 4 sick players.
Yeah.
I
mean, we kind of thought this was gonna be close.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit. DeClerc was our defense player of the year, so he was our endorsement. But
yeah,
Goff was on the World's team. Brownlee is Brownlee. Joel Clinton is a fan favorite of ours.
Joel Clinton is awesome.
Yeah.
He was very fun to watch too.
Yeah,
he could have easily gone in the highlights section too, I feel like, but yeah, I mean, I guess we picked DeClerc just separately in our awards episode, which you can also go watch on our YouTube channel. I think Marquez is just going to win it because he literally broke the AUDL website.
Not a question.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me think, like, all those people going there, if they see him in an Empire jersey, they might also be voting for Ben Yot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about that. Like, do you think they also just voted for like random people? And I was talking to a buddy of mine at work, and I was like, who do you think they voted for the other categories? And he was like, probably just the first name on the list. So like whoever's the first name in rookie or first name in, highlight.
Actually,
that would suck if that affected the vote like that.
I noticed that you submit them individually. So
yeah,
they could have just gone in.
Done.
In fact, they probably just went to him.
I hope so.
Submitted it and then left the website.
I would love for the AUDL to like release the amount of votes per like category.
Yeah.
And it's just like 2,000, 3,000, 135,000.
Oh man. All right, next we've got the international squad hailing from places as far as North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, I think Siraj is like the most well known.
Yeah, I think he's got this on.
So he's kind of got it on lock. His Twitter presence definitely helps. But I mean, he's also an exciting player to watch too. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the other players, to be honest. I feel kind of bad.
Could you pick like anyone on the Canadian teams for this?
Yeah, right. Like,
true.
They should have just had like all 3 team logos and been like, pick one. But again, they had to arbitrarily pick 4 people for each of these categories so that the fans didn't actually have a say.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which brings us
a little bit more into
actually,
that.
I just want to say Sasha said that Jorge Delgado was his pick because obviously they're teammates, but he's our second endorsement because of that. So shout out Sasha.
Word.
But anyway, now we get to the I don't know, the thing we're most mad about. Yeah, I'm just disappointed, honestly.
Like,
I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Like, do you think they deliberately kept him out because they know how much power we have and they didn't know?
Who decides
no
this?
Way.
Is this like a Daniel Cohen thing? Like, is that like
it has to?
I feel like the 2
do you think
union
they have
players
any more employees, then
Yeah.
then Daniel Cohen.
Should we DM them and ask if they got to choose? I think we should.
They won't tell us because they'll know we're mad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't get why Chicago has two of them. It feels
that
like
makes no sense.
a deliberate diss to Ringer the AUDL.
Yeah.
This is a middle finger if I've ever seen one.
I mean, if they're happy with expanding the brand and Brownlee, getting it out there, I feel like they should be happy with us demanding votes for Everett Shapiro.
We deserve this.
I know.
Oh man.
But
yeah,
let's disclaimer, these are all great players, blah blah blah. I swear Stonehouse, he's a highlight player. He makes cool plays. He had a great season. He's here because of his mullet. Everything I saw on Twitter about him was about his mullet. And
I mean, is that so wrong? It's a badass.
No.
I mean,
but like, if we're putting people here for hair, we can put people there because a media empire was founded on their behalf.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair.
No, you make
also,
an excellent point, Sam.
Only one of these four players were even in our conversation for Rookie of the Year, and like obviously some of the others are already all-stars, but like still, there's only one here I think who deserves it, and I don't even think the others deserved nods above some other rookies.
Yeah. This is gonna be tough. I really hope Quinn wins it. Such a good dude.
He's gonna win. He's like,
I hope so.
The thing about it, it's like a popularity vote. So like, I have no idea like who has a bigger following on social media. I think that's
it's
really
hard to say. I think if you tuned in,
it's gonna be tough because it's gonna be separated between the two.
Let's help them out.
Yeah. Nice.
Should we
can you vote multiple times?
I don't know if
it's one day. You can vote again.
I haven't
the next
voted
day.
today.
Oh shit! Nice. I just voted once, so I gotta go back.
I'm gonna give Joel Clutton a vote.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
And then.
Yeah.
All right. What do these links go to?
Oh.
Can you go again?
No, it says you've already voted.
Damn. All right. Well, I think that covers
Okay, I think Asher Lance has 6 followers on Twitter. So I don't know how much of a social media
that's tough.
Mogul he is for this vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know about Quinn Finer's social media, but what I will say is that if you tune in to a Summit game this year, or if you have this year, you're just like, who's that dude? He's like, A, he's everywhere. B, I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but he is a handsome man, and he's
so handsome,
peacocking around on the field, and he's just very like, to me, I was just like, oh, he seems like an important player on the team, and I didn't, before I even like really knew who he was as a player, he just kind of like, just from tuning into the games, he kind of stood out. So if the people voting have like tuned into these games, I feel good about Quinn's chances is what I will say. But anyway.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about are we talking about nationals? Or we want to talk about
the rules? Talk about rules.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot about
Sam. That's our whole thing.
Rules. I thought we were done with the AUDL. My bad.
Rules.
Rules. So there's new rules.
Rules.
Where's the link? Oh, should we buy NFTs?
First ever NFT bought live on a pod.
That just cannot be true.
Show your credit card info.
Which of these links? This website sucks.
It's probably on. It's probably on their Twitter. They announced
it's definitely on their. It's definitely on their Twitter.
All right.
Let me see.
I thought they had a website for a reason.
Yeah. Oh,
I also
we
love
didn't
how
say.
You have to search like THE before AUDL and everything, like Twitter and website, because they don't have AUDL like locked up on anything.
Yeah, AUDL.com brought me to such an odd website for a while until I could memorize it has to be the AUDL.
Oh, here we go. All right, full info. Here it is. Okay.
Okay.
These are our rule changes. Let me zoom in. All right, four rule changes. There's a 5-second stall. There's a backcourt violation at the 50-yard line. The pull will be from 10 yards into the field of play, and 2 pointers from behind the brick mark.
Ooh.
So
let's just start from the top. 5-second stall.
I don't think I'm a fan of this. I think the I mean, we'll see. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I feel like 7 seconds is already short. 5 seconds, it's like I can see it like there's just being a lot of like just stalls if they actually enforce a 5-second stall.
And probably more shitty hucks, which everyone complains about.
Yeah.
Even though like I feel like if you really watch the AUDL, the cucks are actually like pretty quality, and a lot of the good teams don't just huck it. But I think now this will like, what do you do when the stall count's high? You just throw it, and like, I think maybe if you did a 5-second stall and didn't do the other things, it would kind of get the effect that you're looking for. But given that there's also these other rules that kind of help out the defense, then like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I hope it doesn't like make the other rule changes that we like look bad because this stall kind of like gotten like clouded it.
I think the 5-second stall is like definitely the one that I feel like is for the all-star game purposes and not like something they're trying to test out. Like, I don't feel like they're thinking about changing the stall count down to 5 for like regular play, and they just kind of don't want people standing around very much in the all-star game. Like, especially if it's like the kind of game where people aren't laying out or they don't want to injure themselves, something like that. They also just don't want people standing around. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, honestly. I also kind of like the 7-second stall, but I feel like that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I think the best one is the backcourt violation, which we kind of discussed. I think it should have been paired with you have to pull it past their thing so that we don't just get a roller pull every time. But definitely excited to see how that looks.
Yeah.
It's like if you trap, instead of trapping someone on the sideline, now you can trap someone in the corner. Like that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. I think this helps the defense a ton. And that's something that the AUDL sorely needs. And I think it helps. It makes me think about players like Matt Guccijohannes, who we've talked about, who have like all these negative receiving yards. And what did he say to you, Ryan? He said it was because of Atlanta's zone a lot, right? I think, you put 2-2 together. I think that makes zones a lot more viable. It makes it way harder to beat a zone if you can't just dump it behind you constantly.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. I don't know how that'll look in this game specifically. I don't know how much zone we're going to see in an all-star game, but if this is something that happens in the league, I think that's cool. I think it makes zone defense a lot more dangerous.
I think the one rule that I would have liked instead of the 5-second stall was like a 40-second shot clock. I think that would have made
that could have been cool.
Because instead of having like shitty hucks like at 5-second stall, at least now you're like, all right, we're getting high in the shot clock. Like you can at least like throw up a shitty huck, but like it's not just like a hammer because you're 5 seconds.
Totally.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
and way fewer of them.
That's a really good point, Ryan. It like a shot clock would totally achieve what like you're looking for with a 5-second stall, but I think just like what you said, fewer shitty hucks.
And I could see a shot clock like actually being installed as a rule. Like out of all these things, I don't think the stall's changing. Backcourt is, I don't think that's getting added to it. And then the 2-point line, like, I don't know if it'll get added to it though.
Shot clock was something that Pavel talked about on the pod, wanting more like big plays, like with clocks winding down, where he gave his hot take about I don't know how like 100% serious it was, but he was like, I don't really care about injuries. Just give me more highlight plays to expand the league. And he was like,
Yeah.
a shot clock, give me more like toss ups in the end zone, you know. But
For
also,
sure.
I just thought of something. I want to see how you guys feel about it with a potential like backcourt violation shift. Like, what if it was like football, but negative, where as far up as you go, you have like 15 yards behind you that is like a backcourt, and so like no matter where the backcourt's always 15 yards behind you, but if you dump and then you're getting closer to it, it doesn't shift further back; it just keeps shifting forward with you. You think that could work?
Maybe
I do think it could. I think you would have the official running along, kind of like they do in soccer with the offline or
to try to keep
offside
it
rule.
marked.
Yeah, that'd be easy then.
Yeah, they just keep track of it by their position. Yeah, I think that could totally work.
It would give the officials a lot more to worry about. You might need to have an official who's like sole job is to like keep track of that, because I think it'd be hard to
I agree.
like make active calls and also make sure you're always 15 feet behind.
Yeah, I mean in soccer that's all that ref does.
Yeah,
and call like out of bounds. But I actually I think that could very much work, and it would sort of remove the need to
there's no corners ever. There's
so
just
you just regular pull and right.
Yeah, if you can force them to like dump it back 10 yards, then you're like forcing them into a corner, but you'd have to force that throw first.
Yeah. I guess speaking of like pulls, should we move on to the pull from 10 yards into field of play? What does that
I was gonna ask the same question. I don't know.
it like a lot of teams can't get the pull there, so it helps the defense like I guess just push them deeper, because like as good as the pullers are, there's only a couple teams where they'll consistently like pull into the other end zone, so you know it'll
set up more.
Yeah, and it like pins them back. It makes Callahan's more likely if the other team's starting in the end zone.
Okay.
Also, for like the enforced at the 50-yard line backcourt, it'll just make roller pulls at the 45 way easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I don't know if I don't know how I feel about. I don't want to see like more roller pulls than I already do, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like Joe's offside or backcourt a lot.
I like that too.
I think they should have invited us to the owners meeting, because
for real.
We should propose that. And then lastly, we have 2-pointers, which is like the most unholy thing you could invent for ultimate frisbee, apparently.
People hated it.
People hate it. Oh my god, I know.
People hate it.
People act like it's easy to do that, and that like players will attempt it all the time. Like I think the way that people think about AUDL and hucking is just like, I don't know how much like AUDL they really watched. Like I don't know. Like every player that we interviewed, like all they talk about is like how much they value possession. And like, you know, we had Cam Brock on our stream, like watching the like West Division Championship game, and he is just like disgusted by the turnovers that were in that game, you know. I don't see, like, obviously it'll incentivize some more hucks, which is like I think a good thing. And you know, I think if there's an issue, I think it's should it be worth double what a normal score is? Maybe that's too much.
I did see some talk on Twitter about making it like 3-2 instead of 1-2.
Right. Which I think like it works for basketball. I think that would make sense for ADL. I don't think teams would go for it unless they're like down, or like I think it's a good like comeback mechanic, you know, but I don't think it would become the meta to always like, you know, put up a huck.
No, especially because I think like teams would just force in if the disc is that far back with a handler who can really throw it. Like giving up 2 points is just not worth it. You like give up the under, and now you're only worried about giving up 1 point. Like you've cut what they potentially could get in half. So I just think it'd be very hard to do.
I mean, what's really going to happen is the poll's not going to go there in this game, because even if they don't do the roller pull for the backcourt thing, like you're not going to pull it past there to. But we did talk about once, like, what if a team is like working backward in order.
I just think that's
like
that's
that
a
would be
fun concept.
That's cool.
I think it's
I think
cool.
that's an interesting offensive strategy. It's like kind of a volatile offensive strategy of like, okay, let's lose yards to set up a huck.
Yeah.
And like how our defense is going to counter that. It's kind of risky because what if we turn it and we go backwards and we give the defense good field position? I think that's good for the sport personally.
Well, also right now in the All-Star game, if you're up by 2, you can pull it 45 yards and then the 2-pointer is impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think, Ryan?
What I think is a shame is that you're installing this 2-point line from behind the brick line, and yet another cut is not there. Who is
right?
Like all
one
year,
player who really
we saw him throw 70-yard flick like bombs like right on the money, and like that's the first thing I think of is like, God, imagine if another cut was just like feasting out there. Like, oh, that'd be cool.
You know what I kind of want to do is we could do on this podcast and react to there's like a Twitter thread that someone posted on the Ultimate subreddit, and it was like the AUDL has been around for 10 years. Like, how do people feel about it? And like almost all the comments were like, "Meh, too much hucks," like bourbon derp, like, you know. And I made a comment. And like everything was getting upvotes. I didn't really see a lot of like positive comments, to be honest. And it's like mostly like if you're in the Ultimate subreddit, you're like into frisbee, you know, you're not necessarily the target demographic. So I don't know, I kind of got this impression that like a lot of like big Ultimate heads are like still kind of you know, a little bit like this AUDL league is just, this isn't like serious or like, you know, real. But I made a comment just saying like, hey, I just started following it this year. I thought it was like entertaining. I enjoyed it, and it got a lot of upvotes. So there's clearly like people who are, you know, into. I didn't get like downvoted, so it's not like, you know, the whole frisbee world's against the AUDL, but people really talk about it as if it's like this huck league, and I didn't really see it that way, you know.
I think kind of the issue is like the people who I think feel strongest on the spectrum are probably the people who are anti, and there aren't people who are like, I fucking love the AUDL, dude. Like everyone's just like, yeah, the AUDL
that's our job.
Is like cool. Yeah, we do that. But like, you know, the puritanical Ultimate heads like are like, oh, it's not pure. Like they're angry about it, but like they're not actually.
I like watching good Ultimate with dump swings and like.
So I feel like it's more likely to hear that opinion just because they are louder and more likely to talk about it, but not like they're the majority. They just like are more likely to say something because they're more opinionated on the spectrum, I guess.
Which is kind of where that's where I landed on it, because I felt like my comment saying I liked it and I didn't think it was too huck heavy like it was received well even amongst all those other comments. So, you know, there's definitely people that agree with me, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I think the 2-pointer is cool. Maybe don't like have it be double the value, but yeah, like let's not pretend like that's an easy thing that everyone's going to be going for, you know. Like you've got your nether cuts and you've got like a handful of players that like can do that consistently, but you know, it's not as easy as we make it seem, and I don't think it's going to become like central to the strategy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Speaking of pure Ultimate, we're done with the AUDL.
Did Oscar ever text you back about maybe having an impromptu guest?
He gave me Soul's number. And Soul said, I will let you know when I have time for an episode, but not today. Kid needs to study. So he's either a medical student or a serial killer. But
we'll let you the listener decide.
Yeah. we can post a vote on Twitter.
That's awesome.
All right, let's start with the women. Peanut, stop whining. Let's start with the women's division. We've got, let's see. Who are you going to root for? I guess that's the best way to go about this.
Yeah, nothing. I was gonna say something negative about another frisbee podcast, but I'm not gonna do that. Let's stay positive here. I don't know, who am I rooting for? I like Molly Brown because I learned recently that Alika Johnston is on Molly Brown, and she helped me write my college essays. So I
That's
like Molly
awesome.
Brown.
Yeah. To ride your coattails, Elu. I also like Molly Brown. I think I've like since moving to Colorado, I've just become like such a Colorado like homer for all things frisbee, like Summit, Molly Brown, like God, our sports,
Nice.
Johnny Bravo, Shame, like everything Colorado
Mhm.
was kind of where I'm going.
Fair enough.
Nice.
I
I mean,
also
obviously, go
I
ahead,
like
Joe.
Molly
Sorry.
Brown too, but Brute Squad's also kind of fun. That Pool C, I think, is like gonna be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Riot's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Scandal and Grit, both from DC representing.
Yes.
Parcha is the team that throws chairs on Twitter.
Ooh.
So definitely gonna be rooting for them.
They throw chairs.
Yeah, their thing on Twitter is like well, not on Twitter, they tweet about it, but their thing at tournaments is or at one particular tournament they were throwing a chair. I know that.
Nice.
I love that energy. That's a team
Yeah.
I would want to be part of.
Yeah. Pool C definitely looks like just a bloodbath. Those all look like good teams to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we think's gonna come away with it?
No idea.
I think Molly Brown, probably. I think Molly Brown's pretty good.
They could do it. I'm gonna pick Phoenix just because I think it's a smart bet to pick a Carolina team always.
Good
Yeah.
call.
That is true.
All right, Ryan, you have a winner or Alu?
I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm rooting for Molly Brown.
Okay.
Or Scandal. I mean, I'm rooting for
Yeah,
Scandal or Molly
Scandal.
Brown.
I would love to see Scandal play well
Yeah.
and win it all.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know enough to actually make like a real prediction about these teams with like,
Well, yeah, we're not calling it a prediction. We're gonna call it a guess. Who's your guess?
Mike, yeah. I mean, I'll just stick with Molly Brown.
Okay.
I like them.
Ryan, is that your pick too?
I'm gonna go with Parcha. The chair
team
feels like
chair
team seems like a lock.
Team.
Also, 13 seed. Like, has that ever been done before? So
lucky number.
That'd be sick.
Lucky number. Let's go.
All right, now we're at mixed.
Dragon Thrust ranked 1.
Yeah, they just won whatever tournament recently, didn't they?
Well, good for them. I feel like didn't Amp win like the US Open?
I believe so. I think they played either Noise or Hybrid in the final. Amp is good. Amp has whichever Ing brother is the big scary one.
Or Michael.
I can never keep them straight. But Henry or Michael, whichever one we played against, and he was like massive and could jump like 10 feet in the air.
I think Henry
he's
is
on
the
Amp.
bigger one, and Michael is the older one.
I think that's right. Oh yeah, we played both of them, didn't we? But anyway, they have Henry.
Amp did beat Noise in the final.
Oh, called it.
Yeah.
Nice.
By the way,
Dragon Thrust beat Hybrid in the final of with the other one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Hybrid's the one that choked
or whatever.
Yeah, but every
it was a big choke job.
You expect me to keep track of all these tournament names? Every single one is like the professional
super
championships,
champions,
the United States champions, this is the super champs. Like I can't. They're all this. Like, come on, guys. Like,
and let's not forget that Mixtape won Worlds this year.
Mixtape won Worlds. BFG is the defending champs, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So look out for them. I don't really know. Dragon Thrust has Josh Klein. Are there any other notable AUDL
I think they have
players
a bunch of
or WUL, PUL?
I will say there's 2 Colorado teams here with Shame and Love Tractor. And I probably would have picked Shame because we almost had a friend of the pod on Shame. But because we don't have a friend, no, get off my pillows. But because we don't, I'm gonna go with Love Tractor. I played pickup with someone who's on Love Tractor, and it's kind of a cool story where they've been playing mixed for like 10 years and they've never made nationals, but they kept grinding. And this is, I think, their first year on Love Tractor, and they finally made nationals. So go Love
That's
Tractor,
cool.
see what happens. Fuck shit up.
Nice.
I definitely feel like I know the least about mixed out of all three. But I feel like I'm surprised to not see Mischief on there. I feel like I remember watching like San Francisco Mischief. I feel like I remember watching them play at an earlier tournament and thinking they looked good.
Yeah. I think putting mixtape at 5 is dangerous, and I think they're gonna run the table, maybe come out and I would surprise people, but like break seed and potentially win.
I think breaking seed is pretty much a lock for them.
Yeah.
My big takeaway from looking at these teams is the Chad Larson experience. I don't know what the story is behind that name, but that sounds like a movie I would watch or like a video game I would play. I'm into it. I'm into that name.
Okay, yeah, I'm all in. You just pointed that out to me. I didn't even see that.
That's a fantastic name. I also love how Shame has no uppercases in the name
and a period.
Yeah, and a period.
I like that.
It's like a rap album.
They have cool jerseys, right? It's like a dog with a cone. Nice.
Joe, are you looking up the Chad Larson experience?
Yeah. I'm looking at their Twitter. They said they're powered by the juju of Chad Larson.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this truck stop, #1 seed.
Let's go, baby.
Oh,
Machine at 3. How does Machine 3 get 3? How does that happen?
That's kind of surprising. I feel like they didn't have a very good regular season.
Yeah. I like Truck. Here. Truck's just shown that they're like they can go up against anybody, dude. I mean, they've been playing fierce. They really get to Pony, in the Super Ultimate Champs, and they've beaten everyone. They've beaten everyone they've had to beat. Like, why would I pick against Truck Stop? And also, they have Andrew Roy slinging it out there. So
hey Roy,
what's not to love?
Yeah.
What team? Do you think Pony is the team with the most friends of the pod? Maybe Bravo.
Probably.
Bravo. We've got
I don't know.
Quinn and Seth.
Machine has a bunch for us.
Yeah, we got 2 on Machine, 2 on Bravo.
One on Ring.
Is it just Oscar on Ring?
I mean, Pony's really just the 2 also, right? In terms of people who've been on the pod.
But I mean, we met.
Or no,
like
just
they
one.
all kind of count.
Yeah.
And they're all nice to us, so
yeah, they like us.
Jason
Double Wide
Machine said he'd come on the pod.
Yeah, we have a lot of like maybes floating around.
Oh, Sam Kaminsky also.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan North is just a guy I like.
Yeah. 5'11" Brett Holzmeyer's on chain. I think he's our only. Nikki Spiva's on chain. He came to a practice with us once.
Oh yeah. He's also a DC area dude, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He is. To me, something that jumps out is Double Wide being 9th. When didn't they win their region?
Yeah,
they beat Ring in the whatever region they're in.
No, they beat Bravo, who's 8. So
they beat Bravo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
that's kind of rude.
That's a little rude.
Yeah.
Double Wide. I think I see. If I had to, that would be cool if we did like an auction, like we did with the March Madness. But it's like, what team's gonna like break seed and stuff, or hold seed. And I would take double.
Andrew, an auction would be genius.
Yeah. I would take Double Wide. I feel like Double Wide would be great because they're probably I don't know. They show that they're really strong and they're ranked 9th. I feel like they're better than some of those higher up teams. So SoCal Condors being 15. How do you feel about that?
I'd take Vault. I feel like they're playing with some like a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah,
first
Vault's
time
been
at
very
nationals.
impressive.
They're playing really well. I feel like they could break seed too.
I could see that. I could see that. I just feel like Truck just to the like has siphoned a lot of the talent that Vault could have, you know.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
definitely
I
true.
don't think Vault is like even gonna win their pool, but at 14, I feel like they could break seed. I feel
Right.
like they look good and are playing like at their first nationals, and they know it, and they have nothing to lose.
Yeah. I think Machine is definitely on,
Upset watch.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
not
I would
holding
say the same
watch.
for Sockeye.
They're always on upset watch.
I would say the same for
Yeah.
Sockeye, especially being double wide's pool, like we just talked
Yeah.
about. But
I think that
Sockeye's
pool is gonna be really cool.
looked
That's a
a
cool
little
pool.
iffy.
Cool pool. Cool pool.
Cool pool.
Revolver at 11. That's
Yeah.
Revolver's a big name. What's up with that? I don't know. Haven't watched any of their games. Don't know any of the players on Revolver right now. So I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything. But it seems like that's kind of low for a team named Revolver. So maybe it's a different team.
Agreed.
Maybe it's a different team that submitted as Revolver. That's my working theory.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be fun to watch. We should do an auction.
Yeah,
That
I'm
would be
down.
fun.
Wait, Sam, will you share your screen again and just Google Chad Larson?
Yes.
You gotta look at this guy.
Oh.
Who is this person?
Performing at the Aquabats.
Yeah, his band is called the Aquabats. He's Chad Larson. And he has a persona of Crash McLarson.
Okay.
The
This is a team.
Aquabats Super Show. Yeah.
Oh, this is the team name. Are they named after this person?
This is my new favorite.
I mean, I feel like it's
Like
gotta be. They're called the Chad Larson Experience. They said they're powered by the juju of Chad Larson, and
Can we go to their
amazing.
Twitter? Yeah, I want to see what their jerseys look like.
Oh,
that's
Yeah.
underwhelming.
They got polo jerseys.
I'm in.
Try out
I'm here for
this
the
past
polos.
season.
Where are they
Let's
from?
submit it.
Iowa team?
They're from Iowa.
No way. Did you almost type Everest? maybe. Hey, leave it open. Leave it open.
Well, they already happened. Multi matching.
What's Panic? Is that their B team?
Looks like it. What did we? Okay, we played.
Yeah, we play at
nationals.
Yeah, we played at college nationals.
Three out of four. 3 out of 4.
There's
Okay,
no
because
option
I played
to write
D3
in.
doesn't mean I didn't make nationals.
Did you make nationals?
No, the fact that we didn't make nationals is why we didn't make nationals.
Did you make regionals?
We went 0-8 in my career with my freshman year. Our president forgot to sign us up, so we didn't play.
All right.
And then my senior year just got canceled. So career 0-8 at sectionals.
Oh,
but
man.
I was captain, so
Oh,
we live all over. I'll just say all over.
No.
Come on the pod. All right.
That's
Nice.
It's in Iowa. Good to know.
There you go.
All right. I feel like is if you put like where all of us live, I think it's possible that Iowa is like the average location, like the most central. Like,
Sam's really moving that around right now.
Yeah, I think it might get it closer to Iowa though.
Yeah, I think it probably does get it closer.
Okay, that's all the better.
While we're here,
chances
why don't I just pull up a map of the U.S. and I'm not sharing anymore. Hold on. All right, so it would have been like boom, boom, boom.
Oh, like
Boom.
it could be even
Missouri.
split, like in
Dude,
like
Iowa
Illinois.
looks really in the middle
It's
there.
probably like here somewhere around this conglomerate
gonna-
of states. But then
Kentucky.
I'll be here, so it'll be actually no, it's gonna be like
Gonna-
1,
You're gonna
2, 3, and then Ryan.
Chicago. No, it's gonna be like
It's
Tennessee.
probably
It's gonna
like
be like
yeah,
like,
Tennessee, Kentucky.
yeah.
We'll call it Knoxville or Daniel
Hey,
Boone
go
National
Vols.
Forest.
Wait, how about Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can call it Chattanooga.
Yeah, we'll call it Chattanooga.
Should we all meet up in
All right.
Chattanooga?
Yeah, that's where we'll hold the invitational.
We should have a huge camping trip in Chattanooga.
I'm down.
What a great idea.
I would love to.
All right. Well, we covered all the topics.
Wow, and we went on for like 2 hours. How long? Hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was a fun
Classic.
pod, though.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
the Chiefs Bills game is on, so I'm gonna go watch that
All right.
Word.
and get my 3 free drinks.
Let's do it.
God damn, that's
Good call.
I'm open.
I'm open.
I'm
open.
open.
I'm open.